So Sophie Cunningham has pretty much, as far as WNBA players have been concerned, she was pretty much Caitlin Clark's biggest fan and is now a teammate of Caitlin Clark. Maybe Ariel Powers, but I think Ariel Powers, she just wanted to be in Indiana for the old clout, if you want to call it that. But if you guys agree and are happy to see Sophie Cunningham playing for the Fever, subscribe. We are trying to hit we're trying to hit 41.8k by the end of the day. We've already hit that. If we can hit 41.85k by the end of the day, that would be absolutely insane. Our goal literally was 42k by the end of this month. Who knows? We might hit it by the end of the day at this rate. We're in the second. My goal is 42k by the end of this month. My goal is 45k by the start of the W season. If we get hit 42k by the end of this weekend, that would be absolutely, positively unbelievable. But Sophie Cunningham had gone out of her way recruiting Caitlin Clark. Some of the answers Sophie Cunningham gave. Sophie Cunningham came to the defense of Caitlin Clark plenty of times when very few people did. When very few people were coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham was, to be fair. And then, obviously, she's now a teammate of Caitlin Clark's. And by the way, for people wondering, it's like, she signed the extension. If you guys don't know, when she signed the extension, she said, literally, I'm signing the extension now because I don't want it hanging over me over the offseason. I'm coming back to Phoenix. And people were like, oh, she's going to be pissed off if she left. The Phoenix Mercury were not going to trade Sophie Cunningham without her permission. And I mean that. They were not going to, under any circumstances, trade Sophie Cunningham without her permission. She's too close to the organization. She's too close to the entirety of Phoenix basketball. She works with the Suns in the offseason, and I think there's potential for that to still happen. Either that, or she might end up working with the damn Pacers. But there was no way that she was traded without her getting the okay. Like, if she said no, she would not have been part of that deal. But if you guys don't know, some of my most popular videos, rival teams trying to recruit Caitlin Clark from Sophie Cunningham. Is there any other ones? There's another where it's like rival teams still trying to recruit Caitlin Clark somewhere here. But like Sophie Cunningham tried so hard, I can't even find the second one. It's somewhere. There's somewhere more than that. How many views? Definitely in like the 40Ks. Either way, 2 Sophie Cunningham videos were 2 of my most popular videos with her trying to recruit Caitlin. And if anything, I hope Caitlin said, want to come to Indiana, because Sophie Cunningham went straight up to Caitlin Clark over All-Star Weekend and was like, want to come to Phoenix. Sophie Cunningham drunk. Sophie Cunningham was so drunk on All-Star Sunday. And she went straight up and was like, come to Phoenix. And obviously, if you've ever listened to anything Sophie Cunningham has said, like, from before Caitlin Clark was drafted, this was Sophie Cunningham talking about Caitlin Clark.
I think everyone knows she's well known around the world at this point, but I'm going to go with Caitlin Clark is going to be super special.
What do you think Clark's impact on the table?
You know what? I think that she's a phenomenal player. She's one of the best college players to come out of college. I do think there's going to be a little bit of growing pains, but she is so dominant and so hardworking that I'm super excited for what she's going to bring to the table, not only on the court, but just all the eyes and notoriety outside the basketball court that are going to be on the W now.
Which team do you think will be an all-star?
Oh, I love this question. I'm going to be shocked. I don't even know, but if I had to give it to someone, I'd probably go Caitlin Clark.
Like, that's what her saying. Like, would she be an all-star? And she was almost going to say no. But, like, you know what? She didn't quite go that far. But, like, as well as that, like, Sophie Cunningham, again, this was Sophie Cunningham going out of her way to defend Caitlin Clark again. Like, and that's the thing where it's like, you've got probably the person that was defending Caitlin Clark the most, now teammates. Let's take a listen here.
Angel Reese, rookie class, really hyping up the league coming from college to the WNBA. What has that done for you and the buzz of this entire league?
I think it's so positive. I really do. I think it's a fun time to be a part of the W. I truly believe that. I think the skill and the talent has always been there, but now it's just the viewership. And so I give a big old clap to the rookie class. I think that's a lot to deal with when you're at that age and you have that many eyes on you. But I think they've done a great job in the league as well. I think the physicality and all that they're going to get used to. But I think especially Caitlin Clark, she's been killing it. And I'm a huge fan, and I never say that. But I think it's fun what she's doing. When it comes to viewership, man, I think a lot of people have a lot to learn about our league, but I think that's a really fun thing.
So yeah, obviously defending Caitlin Clark there. And even in October at the end of the season talking about the stuff that Caitlin Clark is having to deal with from Sophie Cunningham.
Come on, talk
dude.
to me.
Absolutely not. I think that she's a gem. I didn't know her, but All-Star Weekend, we kind of bantered back and forth a little bit. And she's lovely. She has a lot of pressure on her shoulders. And I think a lot of people always have a lot to say with people they don't even know or shoes they've never been in. And for me, I think she's handling the pressure very well. She's doing a lot of great things for women's basketball. And I'm a fan. Like, I would love to play with her one day, for real.
I would love to play with her one day. I was a fan. Who would have guessed that day was going to be before the next time you played basketball? Who would have thought Sophie Cunningham, her being like, I'd love to play with Caitlin Clark. Like, a lot of constantly saying positive things. And I think, honestly, she was like, maybe being like, yeah, eventually we can get Caitlin Clark to Phoenix. But I also think that not the first chance she could get to Indiana. Because I think that if Sophie Cunningham had her choice, would she rather be in Indiana or be in Phoenix? I don't know if she would rather be in Indiana. I think it's a close one. But I also think that, like, Phoenix coming to her and saying, like, look, we're considering trading you. Are you okay with going to Indiana? She would also be delighted with that. I think there's two teams. There's only two teams in the WNBA that Sophie Cunningham will play for, and it's the Phoenix Mercury and it's the Indiana Fever. I think if this doesn't work out this year at Indiana, I think she's back in the Phoenix Mercury playing probably for a vet minimum in the year of 2026, where probably playing for a vet minimum, and also, like, she'd be worth a lot more, obviously, because she's one that does sign team-friendly contracts. Heck, that's the only reason the Fever have her. She is basically making the same amount of money as Nalissa Smith, and she's so much better than Nalissa Smith. But it's always a funny one to see when we all saw publicly how openly Sophie Cunningham was trying to recruit Caitlin Clark to the Mercury because of how much she wanted to play with Caitlin Clark. And then now, I mean, she's playing with Caitlin Clark. It just obviously did not happen in the way that she expected it to. So, yeah. It is a really, really interesting situation. And I actually, like, this was the shock. Like, Natasha Howard was not a shock. It was like, with the way things were going, I was like, I think the Fever are the only good team with a max contract that can pay Natasha Howard and that don't already have a starting power forward. So, like, not that I was thinking it was a guarantee. I had a video literally recorded being like, why are the Fever doing nothing? That would have been released, by the way, yesterday. Like, I had to leave the house about an hour after the Natasha Howard news broke. If I almost released a video saying the Fever were doing nothing. But obviously they are, as I've said, they are lasagna because, real G's stay and move in silence. But yeah, it was a huge one. It was an absolutely, absolutely huge one yesterday. And this one was just a shock. I thought there was no way she was leaving Phoenix. I thought she was not going to be involved in that trade, but obviously she was needed in that trade because the Phoenix Mercury didn't necessarily have the assets to go for it, to get another one of those players. They didn't have the assets Dallas wanted, but Indiana had assets Dallas wanted, and the Mercury had an asset that Indiana wanted. So it's a big deal. And looking at the way the Fever are structured, looking at the way they are going to be coming in the next 2 years, just because of, like, the way the team is built, the players they have and all of that stuff. And I think the Fever, man, they are, for me, they're the third best team in the W next year. I'm still not putting them ahead of the Lynx or the Liberty. I think the Liberty starting five is way too good. And yes, the thing with the Liberty is they've no bench. I'll see who they sign, but they have no bench. But they have a lot of money with the Sloot contract. Like they can buy two players at the bench, and they have the 7th pick where they can get someone. But losing Kayla Thornton and losing Sloot are big for them. But the Lynx got better with Badian. But I still think the Fever are right up there. I think they are, and obviously Sophie Cunningham. Look, she wasn't going to leave the Mercury, who were going to be a damn super team, for nothing. For no reason. If she didn't think simultaneously they could win, and off the court that it could build her brand. Because look, let's be real, Sophie Cunningham, a big reason why she wanted to recruit Caitlin Clark was for 2 things. To help the team win, and to help her off the court. And if you can't get Caitlin Clark to you, you go to Caitlin. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.